All right, good morning, guys. It's 8 a.m. We're going to get started with your essay test in just a little bit. And so what I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to get situated to make sure that the write goes well for you. And in particular, what we want to be thinking about is the way that you've got your materials arranged for yourself. I've highlighted a few different things that may be useful for you when you guys are working your way through the essays today. And so first of all, it would not be a bad idea to know where your concept outlines are. These are the things that we worked on throughout the course of the year. These are the things that you may or may not have done the work that we discussed previously about writing proper nouns and whatever, but you guys know that any essay question that is going to be offered on the AP test has its foundation in the concept outline itself. And so they can't ask you some sort of weird question that's from the middle of nowhere. It's got to be from someplace inside those yellow packets. So having those available for you would not be a bad idea. Your notebook may be helpful for you, but with your notes, you've taken notes on chapters and chapters of stuff. And so you may find that trying to dig back into that might be difficult for you, but it may be useful. For us, though, when we think about what's going to be happening today with your test, your writing should be focused on maximizing your rubric. And in particular, we want to figure out how to get the most points in the 45-minute window you can. And so you need to keep in mind when you're writing, what's your purpose? What's your audience? Your audience is not a group of people who are curious about the topic that you're writing about. They're curious to find out if you have demonstrated well enough the skills that are required to not take this course again when you become a freshman in college. Keeping that in mind, we don't need to ask questions like, have you ever wondered about blah? Because we already know that they've figured that out. But secondarily, they're not looking to be hooked by you into your essay. They're not looking for like attention getters or rhetorical questions or whatever. They want you to run down the skills that you're supposed to be demonstrating. So having handy the concept outline document that we've shown you in the past, and especially having a copy of your DBQ rubric would be really smart to have next to you while you're writing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move from this screen right here, and I'm going to move instead to walking you through step by step what we want to be thinking about on DBQ day next week. So with the DBQ, first of all, I'm assuming that you've already done the AP demo to test drive your computer to find out if it's compatible with the software that the College Board is using, and my hope is that it is. For us, as we go into the weekend, I do want to highlight a couple items that I have now gotten for you, and my hope is that I can provide for you a lot of resources, probably too much. But the two things that I'm sharing with you before this weekend, one is an AP prep packet that I found a couple days ago. All it is it's another practice activity where it gives you a chance to run through different topics from U.S. history, different ideas that are out there. This weekend is key because if you do find that your content knowledge is not up to snuff, you will want to be working on making that better. You'll go out to File and make a copy, and then you can edit yours if you would like to take advantage of that. This is also known as the AP, let me see here, AP Packet of Doom that I'm about to share with you. If you are somebody who is struggling with content and you want a place where you can get a lot of information, the AP Packet of Doom has been out there for years, and it runs through all sorts of specific names, dates, facts. If this is something that would help you out in your preparation for this weekend, then feel free to take advantage of that. Both those links are on your Google document, and they are now inside of here. Like I mentioned, though, when you are writing, and that's going to be our focus for today, is we want to be focused on how do you have a good write today so that you are test driving your skills and you feel confident going into the weekend that you understand the structure and what your strategy is going to be when you are attacking the AP test. Your rubric should be near you. I'm going to post that for you here. So if you want to have that open as a window while you're working, you can certainly do that. Remember also that your concept outline is something that may be useful for you during your writing, especially when it comes to analyzing the theme and also the skills that you're supposed to be demonstrating. Now, what I'm going to show to you next is I'll show you your essay question that you're working with today. And your essay question is this one. Oops, I messed up. I wanted to click hide instead of stop sharing, and so hide. So here is your AP essay question. To what extent, evaluate the extent to which the progressive movement fostered political change in the United States from 1890 until to 1920. What we're looking at then is we're looking at progressivism. But in particular, it's not just writing a summary of what progressivism is, it's asking about its impact. Now, when you look at an essay question like this one, the way that you should deal with this is you've got your concept outline up here. And like I've highlighted for you on page 24, it gives you your 3 skills that you could be exploring inside this essay. You should be trying to figure out which of the 3 skills does this essay question seem like it's focused on the most. Secondarily, remember that down here just a little bit are your themes. And so when you think about your themes for the course on page 28, it is best for you to figure out what theme is being explored by the essay question itself, because that's the thread that you want to be running. If your essay question is asking you about something in the United States and you're spending a lot of time on foreign policy, you may have a connection that is good, or you may be off topic. And so they want you to analyze, understand what theme are you supposed to be exploring. And then in particular, they want you to stay there. Now, finally, with this essay question, it highlighted for you that you're taking a look at the progressives from 1890 until 1920. Remember this page on page 32 and 33 inside your concept outline document? If you go to the 1890s to the 1945, period 7 is what that is. And you can see in 7.4 is your progressive section that they've got set aside for you in the concept outline. We took time with that during the course of this past year. And so when we were working in class, we took time to write on this concept outline on the front, the beginning and the end date. Why is the beginning important? Why is the ending important? We wrote down details as far as what chapters period 7 covered. And period 7 covers a lot of stuff. Parts of chapters 23, 24, 25, but it really starts getting into it 27 all the way through to chapter 34 is where they start getting into the 1890s to 1945 time period. What I would indicate for you, though, is if you use that chart that I just showed you, you've got in your concept outline a section that is titled the progressives, and it lays out for you the big concepts that you're supposed to know about with the progressive era, and it gives you details here as far as the concepts that you're supposed to know. The problem that you have is accessing those resources will take time. So the more that you are automatic with that material, the better off you will be. But if you are somebody who, Ty, you're getting ahead of me, but I'll get to you in just a second. But if you do take a look back at that concept outline, it can give you help. And remember, this is an open book test from the standpoint that you can refresh your memory and work your way through. The 2 things that I need to warn you about, though, is number 1, if you take way too much time doing that, you're not going to have enough time to knock out all the points in your rubric. But number 2, and this is the bigger thing, you should not be sharing documents during the time that the test is taking place. You should not say to your friend, hey, take a look at this thing that I have, because I can tell you from students that you've got in your class right now, If you've shared work with other people, you've got classmates who will just turn around and upload that as their own work. And if you get flagged because somebody else uses your writing word for word, you and they will lose credit on the AP test. So what you should do is, if you've got notes that you've been lifting from the internet or whatever, if you are getting stuff from the concept outline, use your eyes, look it over, then rephrase in your own words, your own views, analysis, understanding, and that sort of stuff. The final thing that I want to highlight for you before I turn you loose for your essay. So when Ty asked just a second ago, where is the question and the documents? I didn't want you to have access to those yet because of the fact that I want you to be able to have this planning piece first before I ever turn on the timer. I want you to keep in mind your rubric as you're working. And in particular, as we take a look at the rubric, your DBQ is structured in a way where the documents will guide you to certain ideas from the progressive era. But if you spend all your time just doing a document-driven essay, document 1 says this, document 2 says this, and all you're doing is summaries, you're really limiting your ability to do well. You really want to get to that analytical level with your documents to be able to actually use them in support of the essay questions. So when you're looking at the essay question that you've got for today, keep in mind what's asking you, ATFQ. Don't just answer a portion of the question. Evaluate what is the whole question asking you to do skills-wise, and keep performing that skill throughout the essay. What I really want you to think about doing, though, if you're trying to maximize your score, is look at the evidence beyond the documents pieces. There are going to be gaps in the documents where they're going to cover some stuff, and if you are pulling ideas or facts that are somewhat related to the documents, you're probably doing the H in happy if you're bringing in outside information about those documents or about the topics covered therein. But from 1890 to 1920, there's going to be a ton of evidence related to the question that the documents are not even going to come close to touching. That's what you're supposed to be finding. They want you to find 2 of them and explore them with more than just a phrase or a reference, which means you're probably looking at the better part of a paragraph which doesn't have any sort of document connection for this and this. Now, if you're trying to figure out where to sacrifice in order to get that done, if you're like, oh my goodness, the time that we're going to need to get this done is really crazy, keep in mind that you only need to perform these skills and these skills with 2 of the documents well to maximize most of the points you can be getting. So keep in mind your rubric, keep in mind your time. As you're working your way through, try to get the maximum score you possibly can, and then you'll be submitting at the end of the 50-minute timer that I've got right here. So here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to take the DBQ, I'm clicking share right now, and so I'm going to get a shareable link. Over here in the chat, this is your essay question. So please open up the essay so you're able to see not just the essay question, but also the documents that go along with it. If you've been doing the timed writes on the College Board YouTube channel, they've been encouraging people to take a planning time first and then a writing time second. They've been doing about 5 minutes during their sessions to do the planning and whatever. I'm going to leave it to you to determine how you would like to get that done. You should, though, before you ever start writing, if all you're writing is a document-driven essay and it's just document 1 says this, document 2 says this, your chances of scoring well are really limited. Keep that rubric in mind. At this point, then, now that you've had the chance to open up this document, you should go in, you should make a copy. You are now able to start typing. And what we encourage you to do is we encourage you to take the DBQ off to one side, your Google document over to the other side, so that you're able to look at them simultaneously while you're typing. So that would be the way that you would want to think about typing your way through. Can I post it on the APUSH assignment Google Doc? You mean you can't click on the link that's right above where you just typed? So I'll get that link popped in there too. You may now get started with your writing. The timer is now going.
So slow.
Oh, that's good. What do you mean? Okay, we have to figure such.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's working now. I got on the thing.
Well, here, I gotta get off, turn the internet off. I think. Come back up.
If you are still planning, you should dive in at this point. Remember two things: stay focused on your question, ATFQ, and focus on your rubric, maximizing your score. The timer that you have up, when it gets down to the 5-minute limit, that would be when you would be posting it online. Good luck, you guys. So at this point, when the timer gets down to the 5-minute mark, that will be the indication of when you're supposed to be uploading. So this is a great time to be asking yourself, where are you with your rubric? What do you still need to accomplish? Are you still answering the full question? This is your 10-minute warning. In 10 minutes, the essay should be finished and ready to upload onto Schoology, where you will find a drop spot that has a Turnitin link connected to it. 10 minutes. So it's at this point that you should be uploading your essay onto Schoology, and you'll find that the very top link that you have right here on Schoology is your, let me move it. The very top link is your Schoology drop-off spot. And you should have tried the demo by this point to find out how well upload has gone for you, what problems might be existing. But within the timer that you have, this is the amount of time that you've got to still upload and submit to be safe. And so on your test day, that's going to be what you'll want to be thinking about, is if you're in mid-thought or whatever, you do have the opportunity to finish, but once that timer gets down to 0, they will not take any more submissions. And if you miss that deadline, then that's unfortunately where you're going to be. This weekend is vital. And so when we think about this weekend preparing for the AP test, you now hopefully have an idea of the things that you need to be working on at this point. Do you have content issues? Are there certain time periods where you would not want to get an essay question? Perhaps this one, the progressive era, is one that's like that because of all the laws and changes that took place. Perhaps it's the New Deal. Perhaps it's the path to the revolution. This is a great weekend to get content down. This is also the weekend where if you know there's a certain skill that you need to work on, whether it's looking at the John Irish Style Guide or whatever, that's a really great place to be. I've put on my grading sweats today, and so I am totally outfitted in comfy clothes, so I'll be able to spend the better part of this weekend grading out your DBQs, and you should see them coming back to you in the form of a rubric that I'll be sending out to you. So you've still got the essay in your possession. You should upload the Google document, share it in Schoology so I can see that it's done. I will then share with you my rubric with my comments that I'm seeing, and in particular, I'll be able to target and highlight for you things that we need to be working on for this upcoming week. Your big thing to think about, though, is imagine if today was AP test day. You would have a feeling right now of whether or not today was a good day. And the beauty of where we are right now is by doing this sort of activity a week beforehand, you've now got a chance to fix the situation to make it better. Now, if you are somebody who's having content struggles and you haven't been reviewing to this point and you're worried about how many gains you can make, we don't even know what sort of gains are possible until you dig in and start working your way through. So for us, when we're thinking about where we are right now, we just take it a step at a time. If you discover there's a skill in your writing that's not good yet, and we can make it better, that's where we should be focusing. Rather than being overwhelmed by everything you have to do, let's just start targeting in on things that we can start working on to make things better. As you go into this weekend, I wish you the best, and feel free to reach out to me. So if there are things that I can do to help you out, whether it is talking about content that you need to have retaught, essay writing strategies that you need to work through, or whatever, I can do that for you. Also, feel free to share your suggestions. This upcoming week, I will be reviewing how to write this DBQ as well as you can, but we'll also be doing other review strategies. And if you've got any things that you'd like to have included in that process, please just drop me a line so I know what's going on with that. I will stay on until I see you guys drop out of this session. And if you are midway through writing, you've got about 1:20 to get your submission in so that it is on time. Afterwards, it becomes late. And that's something where we need to observe this time limit to make sure that with your writing, you're not getting advantages that other kids are not getting with their writing as well. Hopefully things went well for you. Enjoy your weekend. I will again be on the line. Thank you, Amelia. I hope you did great. Let me know if there's anything to do. Otherwise, you can drop out. Thank you, Nora. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Abby. You have a great weekend, all right? Thank you, Madeline. Enjoy your weekend, okay? Thank you, Chelsea. I hope you did great. It's kind of like with the AP, though. If your submission is slow, it's still okay. As long as it's processing, it'll be fine. And if I see like you're a minute to a few minutes late, and especially if you've notified me, I totally understand that. The people I'm talking to are the ones who are going to turn in their stuff 2 hours later after looking stuff up and whatever. Hamilton, you have a great weekend also. Thank you. Yeah, you don't need to worry about a thing. You're doing good. Thank you. You too. You have a great weekend. Aviana, you as well. Grant, that's good news. I'm glad that things went better. It's that rehearsal and practice that is the big deal, because it's not just knowing stuff, it's also figuring out just organizationally how to put the pieces together. So I'm glad it went well. Brady, you have a great weekend, all right? Catherine, thank you. You have a good weekend. Ian, thank you. You have a great weekend, okay? Hope your essay went well. Thank you, Audrey. Hopefully your essay went well. Good luck. Have a good weekend, all right? John, I hope it went well for you. Hopefully everything's going well. And enjoy your weekend, all right?